Children are often told that monsters are to be avoided, but they're never told what exactly constitutes a monster. Is it hideous facial features, deformed body parts, or their ideals? The Iron Giant teaches children a lesson worth remembering. Just because something is alien to you does not make it a monster. Brad Bird's excellent direction lends itself to this being a poignant social commentary on xenophobia and race. Director Guillermo del Toro often pairs children with a monster and gives the pair a blossoming and loving relationship in order to dismantle the idea that outer imperfections make a monster. It's often the normal people in his movies that do the despicable and monstrous things. While he does this in live action though, Brad Bird transferred that notion to animation. It was a ballsy premise in a time where children are being fed light tales with common morals. Hogarth, our protagonist, and the Iron Giant strike up a relationship through their youth and curiosity. While Hogarth initially fears the Iron Giant because of the horror tale heard in his mother's diner.
Maybe it was a Sputnik or a invader from Mars. That's what it is. It's an invader from Mars.
He quickly learns that the over-encumbered robot is like a little kid. The Iron Giant, despite his towering physique and brute strength, understands the world no more than a baby when he first encounters Hogarth. He cannot talk, mimics Hogarth's movements and even particular sounds. From there on out, Hogarth protects him from the world, shields his innocence from the war-hungry military. It's at that point where the idea of the monster is subverted. Society, in particular the town of Rockwell, become the monsters. They perceive this gigantic robot to be a piece of enemy military equipment. Nobody other than Hogarth and eventually Dean attempts to understand this giant or why he is on the earth. Brad Bird's directing allows the audience, particularly the children, to immediately pick a side, that side being the bumbling and lovable robot. No! This is done almost immediately. Bird does not toy with the idea of the Iron Giant's persecution being a positive thing. He rejects it, and in turn, so do the audience. It's also a poignant commentary on war, or to be precise, the Cold War. The palpable tension between US and Russia is peppered throughout this film, with the town of Rockwell showing signs of fear, a fear of foreign things. The Iron Giant is simply that, something they are told to fear due to the Cold War.
It's probably been sent by foreign enemies to take over the country. We should bomb it to smithereens before it does.
Something as innocent, pure and sweet as our giant robot is persecuted and has his existence violently threatened. Bird also plays heavily with the idea of technology as a perception of pure evil. He transmits this onto the town, as during the late 1950s, there was a true palpable fear of Russia obtaining unique technology to wipe out the US. He even juxtaposes Hogarth's patriotism and comic books with the giant to successfully transfer this idea of weapons, technology and mass destruction. Bird, with such nuance and quiet power, presents that ever so perfectly through Rockwell's relationship with this foreign being too. We learn to love the monster because of his innocence and troubled creation. He is solely built for destruction but does the utmost to reject it. Humankind, on the other hand, is not a tool solely used for destruction, but that's what it becomes. It reverses the idea of man-made machine turning on mankind. Mankind turns on man-made machine without any sign of reason instead. As children are told to fear monsters, they grow up imparting that knowledge to their own children. It's a vicious cycle that sees imperfect beings or creations rejected by society. This is why the Iron Giant should be essential viewing for any child. They can learn from the relationship between Hogarth and his robotic companion. It's a testament to this film's importance that 18 years later, it still holds up as one of the finest bits of storytelling ever in cinema. Disregard the magic of E.T., which sees an entire family protect an alien. The Iron Giant has one kid and eventually his adult friend, risking their lives for people to change their perceptions of the giant. It takes Iron Giant's death for society to accept and idolize him. He sacrifices himself to protect humankind from an incoming missile, and in doing that, gains validity from those that vilified and attempted to destroy him. While everyone cheers in tandem, Hogarth turns to his mother and cries in her arms because to him he has lost a friend and companion, while the rest of Rockwell gained a hero that they initially rejected. The positive is that it changes this town's view on what makes a monster. The negative is that it took the destruction and death of a good-hearted being for them to truly comprehend what was always in front of them. The idea is that beyond the credits, Every child who will eventually have his or her own child will tell the story of the Iron Giant rather than the classic horror story of the boogeyman. Two monsters, sure, but one is used to spread a positive message about acceptance rather than teach kids that, in essence, monsters are bad and you should avoid them. The Iron Giant's importance should never be debated. It's outright criminal that this film continues to slip under the radar of many due to Disney and Pixar's monopolization of the animated sector of cinema. Its charm and message far outweighs 90% of animated feature film throughout the history of cinema. It's not only a film used to teach audiences that acceptance of a monster is important, but it's by far the most effective one for children to learn from. Beyond the theme of friendship, The Iron Giant is a moral story of acceptance and understanding, giving a monster the chance to tell its story without judgment.
Superman.